Hi everybody, it's Tracy, your Detroit-based political diva, with another positive drive-by video. Just a few minutes to remind you about a few things that are happening across the country and in Detroit locally, and things that are happening with me that I want to invite you to and remind you about that are on the horizon in connection with the political spectrum. First of all, let's begin with prayers up to the George Floyd family. Today was a date and time set for his funeral in the state of North Carolina. I saw part of the service. It was actually a homegoing. Everyone was dressed in white. And then, a few days ago, there was the memorial service in Minneapolis in which the mayor of Minneapolis attended, Jacob Frey. He's a civil rights lawyer originally from the state of Virginia, and he relocated to the state of Minnesota after running a marathon there, and he kneeled in front of George Floyd's golden casket and he sobbed. And that, in contrast, I thought was such an evocative moment. But in contrast, you had Senator Amy Klobuchar stop by as well, and she stood by the casket, and some people just they weren't down with that. It really caused controversy on Twitter, on Black Twitter, because Amy Klobuchar was criticized. One time she was the Hennepin County prosecutor, and she failed to prosecute defendant number one, Derek Chauvin, who is now charged with murder 2 and second-degree manslaughter. But she failed to charge him on another police brutality case. And some are of the opinion that if Amy Klobuchar had done her job some time ago when she was a Hennepin County prosecutor, perhaps Derek Chauvin would have never went on to massacre and publicly execute George Floyd, acting as judge, jury, and executioner. So think about that one, folks. Interesting factoid. I understand that our own Floyd Mayweather picked up the tab for all 3 of George Floyd's memorial and funeral and homegoing services. He will have a final homegoing in Houston. I understand that is actually his hometown. And after today, his remains will be flown there, and they will finally put him away. And it will be a very sad day indeed. So, but thank you, Floyd Mayweather, for looking out for the Floyd family and doing your part. So, it's 90 degrees in Washington, D.C., and today is projected to be the biggest protest day of all the protests that have ensued since Memorial Day, the day when everybody was eating barbecue and living it up and having a good time, while George Floyd was unfortunately losing his life at the hands of Derek Chauvin and 3 other cops who incidentally have been arrested and charged. And hopefully they'll be going down too. Keith Ellison, who is the Attorney General in the state of Minnesota, has stepped in. He's taken the case away from Mike Freeman, the Hennepin County attorney, a prosecutor. And so it will be interesting to see how the case proceeds, if there will be a change of venue, if there will be convictions, because we know that in this country, it's not a foregone conclusion. And so this is a great segue to invite you to a special version of Political Coffee tomorrow with my colleague, Attorney Robin L. McCoy of Robin Legal. And our special guest will be attorney extraordinaire, Attorney Arnold E. Reed of Arnold E. Reed and Associates. He's based in Southfield, and he's been called the baddest SOB in the game. And that stands for son of a barber. And we're going to find out more about him tomorrow. He's handled many a police brutality case. And when he was only 29 years old and a newly minted lawyer, he won a multi-million-dollar police misconduct case. And we're going to talk with him more about his thoughts on the George Floyd murder case, how it will be prosecuted, the subsequent charges. We're going to talk with him about qualified immunity and what that means in this call to defund the police. And it's going to be interesting and I think also evocative talk. So join us here tomorrow, Facebook Live via Zoom, Sunday, June the 7th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will post it up later if you can't miss it, if you're still in church or something. Okay, so in continuing the rundown, our First Lady for the Forever FLOTUS, Michelle Obama, says that people who vote determine our future. And that is never more true than now in 2020 during this election cycle. And so this is a great segue for me to open up a piece of mail that I received today. I jumped ahead and I did open it and I took a little sneak peek in, but it is correspondence from Janice M. Winfrey, the Detroit City Clerk, and I think it is my application for absentee ballot, and yep, it sure is. It's my application for absentee ballot, so I'm going to fill this out, pop a stamp on this baby, and send it in the mail, and I think I'm going to be voting absentee because I might be helping in some other way this year. I really don't mind voting at the polls. I have all my PPE, but who knows? There might be a second or third wave by the time the general election rolls around on Tuesday, November 3rd, which, by the way, we are 149 days away from, at this video, we are 58 days and 5 hours and 1 minute away from the Michigan primary. And, I do want to tell you about a special interview that I have coming up on Tuesday, June the 9th, with Sri Tanadar, who is running for Michigan State House District 3. And I am going to be joining him via Zoom. He's been doing Facebook Lives for a few weeks now, and I'm going to be asking him questions about why he's running and what his thoughts are on police brutality and what his platform is, and is he going to listen to the constituents and then go up to Lansing and do good work? I suspect he is. He ran for governor once and Detroit embraced him. He got a lot of votes, and now he's running for State House District 3. So join us on Tuesday, June 9th, 7 p.m. via Facebook Live on the Sri Tanadar for State Representative page, and you can't miss that one. Also, on Saturday, June 20th, just a couple of weeks away, at 12 noon, joining me will be the Honorable Kamisha D. Gant of 6th Judicial Circuit Court in Oakland County, and we're going to be talking about voter rights, how to register to vote, how to apply for an absentee ballot if you haven't received one in the mail like so many people are receiving, and why it's so important to turn over the ballot and vote for the judges' races. So you can't miss it. Again, that's Saturday, June the 20th, 2020 at 12 noon, Facebook Live, Zoom. This is brought to you by the Black Women Lawyers Association of Michigan. I'm a member, and the Black Women Lawyers Association of Michigan are really doing great things during this election cycle to educate the public about their voting rights and how they can participate in the process and remain engaged. So hats off to you, Black Women Lawyers Association of Michigan. I think that is all that I have in terms of events, but one thing I do want to mention is that, today is also D-Day, and here's my little flag here. June the 6th, 1944 is when our troops hit the beach at Normandy in France, and there was massive loss of life in terms of our military service people, and but we helped defeat Adolf Hitler and the damn Nazis. So, hats off to them. A lot of people forget about this moment in history, and it was called Operation Overlord, and it was one of the most massive seaborne operations of all time in military history. I am a lover of military history, so I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so that's all I have for now. I hope that everybody is still social distancing and staying safe, and if you are out there protesting, to try to distance as to the extent that you can, but definitely wear your mask. And I appreciate all the people who are out there putting their lives on the line, really, to protest and call for police reform now and justice reform. But, people are paying attention, and it does seem as if we're at a pivotal moment in American history, but it all means nothing if the leadership doesn't go into action by putting in legislation. And hats off to Senator Gary Peters, because he's proposed legislation for a new criminal justice commission. So that's all I have for now. Don't forget Political Coffee tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook Live via Zoom. And Tracy, your political diva, out.